What's up? Welcome to The Walking Dead Season 5 recap. So we are finally done the Season 5 of Walking Dead. So I decided to, as we've done with the first 4 seasons of The Walking Dead, give another recap and discussion about the show and its characters. Because, man, was the season really good for our characters. So, yeah, let's start off. So this episode starts off where the last episode left off, where the season 4 left off, with all of our characters stuck in that Terminus train, and with Rick saying they screwed with the wrong people. So yeah, meanwhile we see Carol. I'm gonna go timeline by timeline. So we see Carol and Tyree just hanging out, walking away from the whole Lizzie of Carol killing Lizzie. They're walking away from that, wanting to forget that whole situation, and that's when they're captured by this Terminus guy who tries to almost kill Judith. But Carol sees Rick in the game being taken out of the Terminus train car, and yeah, so they're taken out and they're placed in front of these people where they have Sam, that guy that Rick and Carol met from last season. He survived. We all know his girlfriend did not, but he survived. And he's here. Somehow off screen he made the Terminus and is now being threatened. So yeah, so the Terminus people are cannibals. They basically kill people and then eat them up. They basically kill someone and then eat them up. Yeah, because in the past they were just nice people hoping a nice town would happen. But then these rapists came in and tried to rape other people. So they tried to have enough, and they haven't. And went from trying to be nice to wanting to protect themselves by eating the people who come into Terminus. So yeah, another place where you think it's safe, but it's really not. It's a psycho town. But he's like, hey Rick, how many you got? And he's like, I've got a gun. I've got a knife with a pink handle that I'm gonna use to kill you. Badass Rick line. So Rick basically. So Carol sees this and she decided to basically attract the walkers to basically blow up Terminus. So she basically fires stuff to attract the walkers to go to Terminus, and everything's blown up. They kill Sam. So yeah. So they kill Sam and they kill Sam, and they all leave Terminus a smoking ruin. But not before Carol kills the cook Mary, because Carol is badass like that. She basically goes in. Carol basically finds everything but Michonne's sword, because she takes everything with her but Michonne's sword, because she didn't see that. She takes Herschel's pocket watch, Daryl's crossbow, but she leaves behind Carol Michonne's sword because I guess she didn't see it there. So Mary, the mom, she tries to show up and tries to kill Carol, but then Carol defeats her, and she's like, do you realize how many people you had to kill to get this? And she's like, yeah, but Raven's her son and stuff. So Carol just lets this cannibal by eaten by zombie other cannibals. So by the way, Mary, you were only a 2-episode finale character and a premiere character, but she gets defeated. So then in episode 2, so then in the second episode we start. I'm trying to do this differently. So we see our gang just walking around, but then they hear screams of a guy. But Rick tries to leave him because Rick doesn't trust people. But Carl, being the great guy that he is, tries to go save him. And we learn this guy's named Gabriel. He gives home in his church. So yeah, home to his church. So they're going. So the team has the guys to go out and look for stuff. But that's when they find a place full of water with walkers in it, and Gabriel sees one of the walkers, which causes him to get all scared. And they're able to feed the walker. So yeah. So meanwhile, Abraham is talking about going to DC to rescue Zombie Cure, and Bob and Sasha are dating, because it wasn't mentioned before, but now they're together. They're together. It's kind of weird, but to know Bob and Sasha are dating. So there was a post-credit scene at the end of the first episode where we see Morgan back, where we see Morgan, Rick's friend from season 1, and he's just there in the woods, but then he sees where Rick put no sanctuary, and he just goes, forgot to put that. But meanwhile, back to episode 2, Bob's just crying when he's knocked out by the Terminus people. And the Terminus people have already bitten off, are already eating a good portion of Bob's leg. But Bob reveals that, guess what? It's tainted meat. He was bitten by a walker, the walker there. So they're basically eating his meat, his tainted meat. And they're like, is that good for us? And he's like, we should kill him. And he's like, no, we shouldn't. So they know Bob's gone, and obviously confront Gabriel, because they think that Gabriel's working with Terminus and want to. Actually, I don't know if Terminus, but they think he's up to something, because after the scene, Carol and Daryl went after the car they think took Beth. So, but he reveals that he actually, he wouldn't let people in. Like, one of the women that scared him was one of his, churchgoers, but he wouldn't let them in, so he let them get eaten by zombies, and it's been haunting him ever since. So, but then they find Bob, and Bob is basically like, hey Rick, the Terminus people, they're back. So yeah, but back with Abraham. Abraham's like, let's go to DC, but Glenn was like, yo dude, let's deal with this Bob stuff before we go to DC, but he's like, okay. So he's like, hey, me and Maggie will go with you to DC to help Eugene find the cure. So yeah, they do that. They help Eugene. So they want to help Eugene. So Bob is dying. So Bob is dying and turning into a zombie. So Sasha's like, she'll kill him, but then Tyrese, no, I'll kill him. So Bob's dying, and so Sasha's about to kill him, but then Tyrese does it, and now Sasha feels like it should have been her. So, yeah. So let's talk about the DC stuff. So Abraham, Glenn, Rosita, Eugene, and Maggie I'll go to DC to help. Yeah. To help Eugene find the way to the cure. But then the bus blows up, so they're like, we are walking on foot. So yeah, so as Abraham and Rosita are doing the DIRTY, Eugene explains to Rosita how he has a secret that he doesn't want to tell. So he basically does tell. He basically tells them that, hey, he's not really a scientist. He's just a nerd who found a cool guy like Abraham to latch onto so he could feel some purpose in his life. Yeah, and this causes Abraham to break down and flashback to when his wife and his children were afraid of him after he killed the people that were going to hurt them, and then they ended up getting killed by zombies. So yeah, the whole mission was able to stop him from reflecting on that. But now that he knows the mission is fake, he's gone back to reflecting on that and punches Eugene out punches you in the face. So yeah, so meanwhile we see Beth's character again, where she's been trapped. So ever since she and Daryl were on her own, she was saved by a cop and a police officer who were like, now that we saved you, you owe us your life. So yeah, she also meets this guy named Noah, played by Tyler Jackson Williams. And if you don't know, his brother is Tyrell Jackson. Tyrell Jackson Williams. The guy who played Leo in Labyrinth. I don't even know if that's his real name, but I know his name Tyrell. Tyrell James Williams, who played Leo in Labyrinth. Yeah, and he and Beth basically strike up a good friendship. So yeah, so the police officer is named Dawn, and she's basically a corrupt cop who basically takes out her anger on Beth for some reason. Yeah, Beth is not doing well in the show. She is not. Oh, hi, Beth. Yeah, she's not doing well in the show. Yeah, so so Beth basically, so the doctor is basically like, Beth, this would use to save a guy's life, but ends up killing him. So and then Noah basically tries to take it as his fault, but she's like, Beth, I knew it wasn't him. So anyway, back with Carol and Daryl, they tried to, so Beth is able to, there's also a guy named Gorman who basically likes to make out Beth, but she doesn't want. So she basically six zombie. She six Tara, a girl who killed herself so she turned into a zombie. He dies, but they're able to escape. Beth lets Noah let her go, so Noah runs into Daryl and Carol, who basically he steals their guns. He steals their guns because he doesn't know them for some reason, but Daryl wants to kill him for stealing their guns, but Carol's like, no, we have to keep this guy alive. So that's what happens. Yeah, that's what happens. She's like, we have to keep this guy alive, so they keep him alive. But Carol's accidentally hit by a car and sent to Grady Memorial, where Beth sees her in a coma. So, yeah, Carol and coma, not currently, but at the time of this. Yeah, so meanwhile, Rick and the gang find out about Beth, and find out that Beth is in Grady Memorial. So they take these two cops hostage, and they're like, hey, you're never gonna. So yeah. He's like, Don would never let you do that. So they said, the second cop doesn't want to listen to Rick, so Rick has to shoot him because he didn't want to listen. So they take him to cops, and yeah, but then the other cop shows up and knows that she's not. But another evil cop shows up and he's like, you're not doing right. And she's like, Beth, stay behind me. And they get into a fight, and she kills him, and he's like, hey, and says some stuff about her. So she throws him. He splats and gets eaten by a zombie and dies. Yeah, so Glenn and Maggie are back from the trip, and Mashona's tell her, yo, hey, Beth's alright, she's at Grady Memorial, she's fine. So, yeah. So, okay. So she's like, hey, she's at Grady Memorial, she's fine. So they all go over there, but then Don's like, yo, all I want is Noah. you can have Beth as long as I have Noah. But he's like, Noah's not going anywhere. And Beth's like, I get it now. And stabs Dawn as Dawn accidentally shoots Beth in the head by accident. This enrages Daryl, so he shoots her in the head. And now everyone shoots Dawn in the head. So now everyone's against each other. R.I.P. Beth. You were a great character. You were a great character. I'm sorry they had to kill you off. Hopefully you have fun, but I don't know how to tell each other. So, yeah. So Beth's now dead. Maggie breaks down now, finding out Daryl carrying her sister's dead body. I must say his. Why is it? Her sister's dead body. So, yeah. So they want to do one last wish for Beth, which is to get Noah back to his hometown. So they decide to get back Noah to his hometown, where they find out that it's, in a way, Tyrese and Noah go to Tyrese's old house. Go to Noah's old house, where Tyrese is reminiscing, but then Noah's zombie brother bites Tyrese on the arm, which that's where he hallucinates all the dead characters in the show, like Mika, Lizzie, Beth, Bob, the governor for some reason. I don't know why he hallucinates the governor, but he just does. He hallucinates the governor for some reason, but he does. He hallucinates all the dead characters, so just including Mika and Lizzie, who tell him that it is fine in heaven, because they tell him that. They're like, dude, it's fine here. You can die, but you'll be in a better place here in heaven. But he's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stay here. Terrible Tyrese impression. So, yeah, so Noah finds him. They get the others. They try to get Tyrese back, but as soon as they get him, Tyrese dies. R.I.P. Tyrese. So, Sasha isn't, everyone doesn't have anything. They're food wire for days. Noah's like, hey, I won't make it. And Sasha's like, yeah, you won't. Yeah, Sasha goes a little loony in the second half. Now Tyrese isn't with her anymore. She goes a bit crazy. And I can't believe they replaced her with Tyrese's daughter and sister and son or daughter. Like she's the replacement character for Tyrese's son or daughter. Like, wow. And Tyrese's introduction in the comics is way, he's introduced to season 1 or 2, but they waited till season 4 to introduce him, and now he's gone. So, but then they see someone left them bottles. But then she's about to drink one, but then Abraham knocks it out of his hand. He's like, from your friend. So, yeah, and since Morgan appeared before, we were probably thinking it's from Morgan. But no, it's not from Morgan. It's from this guy named Aaron he's like, hey Rick, I already know who you are. And he's like, be quiet, sit down, and don't talk. So he's like, Rick, I'm on a place called Alexandria, which is a place full of nice and good people. And we can help you be good people. And he's like, we've done things that you are not. So Michonne put the sword down because she got her sword back, and she's like, Rick, we are in terrible conditions. Being in a place like Alexandria would be better. But he's like, okay, we're going to Alexandria. But then what happens is that their friends accidentally cause a flare, which Rick thinks he set up. But then he's like, Glenn, you can come with me. So Rick decides to go to Alexandria, where it's run by this senator named Deanna. And yeah, so Rick decides to show off she has interviews for all her main characters, including Rick. So Rick decides that she's like, hey, this place, she used to be a senator, and this place runs on power. So Rick finally gets a shower after months of not having one, and he decides to shave his Tom Hanks castaway beard, and kind of looks like Rick from season 1, but younger. So, yeah, so I haven't talked about Carl much. I haven't talked about Carl, where are you, Carl? I haven't talked about him yet. Carl! I haven't talked about Carl yet. Wait, is his name Carl? No, it's Coral. Carl! I haven't talked about it. Sorry, running joke. But I haven't talked about him yet because Carl doesn't kind of do much in this show. All he does is shoot a gun. But this Alexandria arc, he kind of does get a storyline because he meets this girl named Enid who's from the outside world just like him, and she's kind of like a girl version of Carl or Carl, and so he kind of meets her. Yeah, but not Jesse. Who's Jesse? I'm gonna talk about that Jessie girl. Jessie is a blonde-haired woman who Rick kind of falls for, but we all know his true love is Michonne. Yeah, we all know his true love is Michonne. I don't care what anyone says. Who cares about Lori? Who cares about Constantine and Andrea? His true love is Michonne. Who cares about Jesse? His true love is Michonne. We can all say it. They may not tell it. They may not have any feelings for each other, but they are soulmates. So she finds out she has a boyfriend, but yeah. So Carol decides to be the nice house mom type of the place, but she lies constantly. She pretends to be someone she's not. Pretending something she's not. So yeah. So then we got Aiden. He's terrible. He's horrible. He gets fight with the people of Alexandria aren't zombie pros. So when anyone questions their leadership about zombies, they don't there's this guy they're holding zombies, but they want to shoot him. So Glenn does it, but they get mad at Glenn saying that, hey, you're supposed to follow what we say. He's like, following what you say. You guys don't even know anything about zombies. So they're probably enemies for the rest of the series. And so during our run, Tara is injured by a zombie. Aiden dies, and they just let it happen because they're like the last troop. They let their Rick becomes sheriff again, and with Michonne as his deputy. See it? I knew they would be together because obviously, they could have put Rick with any one of the main cast, but they put him together with Michonne. See, they could have put him together with Daryl. They could have put him together with Glenn. They could have put him together with Maggie. But they put him together with Michonne. It's just telling us that the writers know that they want Michonne and Rick to be together, because they could have put him with anyone, but they put him with Michonne. The writers are just trying to tell us, hashtag Michonne and Rick goals. They're trying to tell us. I know it. They're trying to tell us that Michonne and Rick are meant to be together. So there's this kid named Ben there's this kid who's the son of Pete and Jesse, and Pete has been abusing his wife, and Rick's like, yeah, you're gonna have to do Rick. You're gonna have to kill him. But Diane's like, oh, Rick, we are not, you in this place, we don't kill. I already lost one of my sons. I'm not gonna lose one of my residents. So, So Rick tries to tell Jesse, and she's like, wait, you talking about Rick? And he's like, I know he's abusing you. But then Pete comes in and gets into a fight with Rick, and they get into a fight. Boom, boom, fight. It's the Rick and Pete show. She tries to stop him, but then poof, gets put out of the way. But then Rick's like, yo, Rick says a really good speech about how they're not, Gabriel has been doing weird stuff this season. Like, he's telling Diana that that Rick's group is bad people. Yeah, because he says that they're basically Satan. So then Sasha goes a little loopy again because what's her character now? And she goes a little loopy again. Typical Sasha. Typical Sasha. But then she tries to say, oh, I don't want your help, Michonne. You haven't lost people, but I have. So she goes off. She finds Gabriel, but Gabriel's like, hey, I need some help. And he's like, no, I'm not giving you any help. You guys are Satan. You guys are evil. And she's like, Tyrese didn't deserve to be here. Bob didn't deserve to be here. You didn't deserve to be here. And then she starts pointing a gun at him, and he's like, come on, just do it. But then Maggie comes in and is like, don't do it, Sasha. But then Gabriel's like, come on, just do it. And it's like, he deserves to die. And so at the meeting, people are fighting Rick. So meanwhile, we get a Morgan opening. So Morgan we've been seeing these people with the word, we've been seeing these walkers throughout the season with the word W on them. What does that mean? It means for like the wolves are here, and Morgan is being held up by them because they want to rob from him. But Morgan has learned some things since the last time we saw him, and he takes these guys all out and leaves them in. So Aaron and Daryl are like the guards of the show, so they basically let out all these zombies because they didn't know it was a trap. But then that's when Morgan beats. They're trapped in a car with a bunch of walkers, but that's when Morgan saves them, and he shows them the map that he found at the church, saying this world needs Rick Grimes, and Daryl's like, so he goes with it. So the wolves, they are still alive. They're probably gonna be the villains for next season. They take all these walkers and put them back in the trucks, and they find photos, and I don't know what they're gonna do with them. So Gabriel accidentally lets walkers through, so Rick has to fight him. So Rick brings them to church and is like, hey, I didn't bring this walker in. It was left open to the gates. And he's like, how are the gates open? He's like, I thought the last time Gabriel did it. And he's like, go close them. So, yeah. So that's when Pete comes in and is like, Rick, you don't deserve to be here, and kills Deanna's wife, Diana's husband, Reg. So she finally allows Rick to kill Pete, just telling him, do it. And he shoots him as Morgan, Aaron, and Daryl come in, and he's like, Morgan, and he's like, actually he doesn't say anything, they just show it, and that's how the season ends. We also get a post-credit scene of Michonne, and she's playing up her sword and decides to knock, and he's like, no wolves are here. So that was season 5. I really enjoyed it. I liked the first 2 arcs. We lost a lot of characters in the season, didn't we? We lost Beth. We lost Bob, Beth, and Tyrese in episodes. It was cool to see Beth's storyline wrap up, but it's sad that she got killed off. And then Tyrese gets killed off the following episode. And yeah, so how are the Alexandria residents gonna deal with the fact that Reg is dead now? And yeah, so Diana's lost both her husband and her son, and now Pete's dead. So I don't know if Jesse's not gonna like Rick anymore because she was ordered, because Diana, or she's not gonna like Diana, because I know that she didn't like her husband, but So that's it for this season, and that's it for the season, and I'll see you next time for more Walking Dead when we recap season 6.